Welcome back. This is objective 5.6, which is the last objective in the ICND1 or CCENT examination, which is use Cisco iOS tools to troubleshoot and resolve problems. Ping, traceroute, terminal monitor, and then log events. I don't have a slide for log events, but we'll talk about that for just a second. The troubleshooting tools that we're talking about are obviously the basic troubleshooting tools to find out if we have functionality predominantly here at actually at layer 3. The terminal monitor just allows us to monitor what's going on at the terminal if we are using the VTY lines, the telnet lines. So ping, you've probably used before, but checks layer 3 connectivity, and it does check layer 3 connectivity. It does not mean that if you can ping something that everything's working at the destination. What it means is that we can deliver packets, data at layer 3. It doesn't mean that the application layers, the applications, are actually working. So it checks layer 3 connectivity, can use with an IP address. We do use it with an IP address, or we can use it with a fully qualified domain name as long as we can resolve it with DNS. And in this one, it's ping www.firewall.cx. What will happen is DNS will then resolve the firewall.cx website into an IP address, and you see down there it's 216.239.132.52 up here in this area, and we're doing 32 bytes of data, and then we get a reply from the website, the remote site, and we see there with bytes we have 32 bytes of data. The time 460 nanoseconds. The time to live 236 times to live is how many routers is it going to be able to go across. The time is the response time, and it's going to vary a little bit, but in nanoseconds, and if you think about it, that's pretty quick. We're going to that website. Round trip time is what we're talking about there. So it measures the round trip time, uses the echo request ICMP packets, which means that if somebody has filtered the echo request, their echo reply, then we're not going to get a response from that ping. If we've configured an access control list that prohibits the traffic between those two locations, then we're not going to get anything. ICMP message of success or failure. So we're going to get messages that say yes, we got there, host unreachable, network unreachable, or a success, as is in this image up here. Cisco uses an extended ping. If we type ping and then an IP address or a fully qualified domain name, it's going to do the standard 5 pings, where we hopefully are going to get 5 exclamation points. We can use the extended ping here to change the source IP address, and the source IP address can be any address on the router, and that would actually check the return paths to get back to that particular address. Some of the attributes, if you look at the image there, we just type ping and then enter. Protocol IP, and that's the default, you can just type enter. Target IP address, repeat count, how many times do we want ping to go, and the standard is 5, the default is 5 as it shows here in the image. This one puts 10 in. The datagram size, the default's 100. We can specify that. The timeout in seconds, how long that's going to be. Extended commands, yes, and then the source interface on down, you can see what is available in the extended ping. And if you go on down to successfully, we get the 10 exclamation points or exclamation signs instead of the standard 5, and then down success is 100%. 10 round trip time, we get the minimum, the average, and the maximum in milliseconds. And this thing helps us perform a more advanced check. Host reachability and network connectivity can work only at the privilege exec level. So you have to be able to get into the enable mode, privilege exec mode, in order to make this work. Type ping and then the enter, and it will then go through the questions that we want to do. Traceroute leverages the time to live of the IP packet. What it does and what this image shows is we start out, when we do traceroute, the first entry in the time to live, we modify the packet so that it has a time to live of 1. It goes to the first router, packet expires, comes back. Traceroute depends upon being able to get a timeout message, time TTL exceeded, as in a third bullet there. When the TTL equals 0, you get a TTL exceeded error message to the originating IP. Traceroute adds 1 to the time to live and starts over. So each time it goes to the first one, first it starts out, it has a time to live of 1. Goes to the first one, decremented by 1, gets a TTL of 0, packet expired, sends back the message. The system then creates a packet with a TTL of 2, goes to the second router, expires, comes back. Then a TTL of 3 on down the line until we actually reach the destination. If the router fails to process the packet, sends an error message, then we found the faulty device. So in Traceroute, wherever it fails is where we're going to have the issue with the router. Extended traceroute is a variety of the traceroute command, just like the extended ping was a variety or an extension of the ping command. Some of the attributes supported with the extended option of protocol, the target IP address, source IP address, port number, similar to the things that we saw in the extended ping. Time exceeded message indicates the immediate communication server had seen and discarded a packet, just like we did before. So just much like the extended ping, the extended traceroute, we can specify some of the parameters that we want to have with it. The last thing is terminal monitor, and the command there is terminal monitor. And then we have show sessions, show running config, and all sorts of things. Show version. Terminal monitor enables the display of the system messages to the terminal connection. When we telnet line VTY04 or whatever, telnet into a system, we're not going to see error messages unless we have configured it to send those error messages to a terminal with the terminal monitor command. Displays debug, output system error messages, and the current terminal and session that's in it. And all the terminal parameter setting commands are set locally, don't remain after the session is ended. So once we have ended the session, we go back to the default. If we want to renew the situation, we have to renew all of the commands. It does not have any arguments or keywords. It's just terminal monitor. And so we talk about logging. The big thing about logging is, yes, we have them. We can log to a syslog server, which will store our logs off of the device, not take up the memory, and we don't have to worry about running out of log space in that case. And it's just a matter of going in and in the enable mode, privilege exec mode, in the config mode, use logging and then the IP address of the syslog server. Syslog is a piece of software running on a workstation that's going to store the logs on that device. Advantage here: somebody compromises the device, deletes the logs, there's no logs on the device to delete. So with that, we looked at troubleshooting tools. The troubleshooting tools, the basic ones, are ping, traceroute, and terminal monitor, so that we can see the error messages. With that, that concludes the objectives for CCENT. Thank you for watching.